Really watch the actor. Hey man, I'm on the rock and roll vibe right now.
He want to get up there and play him. Well, the Eagle will see what Bill.
Yeah.
Daughter last night on super fat, eating over the good. Yeah, not dying. Yes, just turning it up here. Oh, yeah, I was like, all right, yeah, I can keep that water running.
Okay.
So many
They want it done yesterday.
Okay, everybody. It's 12:30. I try to respect everybody's time. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order and get everything started. First, I'd like to apologize for not being there today. I had a prior commitment that took me out of town. But we'll call this meeting to order at 12:30. And first item of business is the roll call. So Justin, I guess, are you taking care of that?
Yes, sir, I am. Rachel's no longer with us, so we'll start off with you. Russ Rose, Chairman.
Here.
Scott Treese, right here. Kevin Nuss. Jim Silliman. Keith Griffey.
Here.
Arthur Jones.
Present.
Mike Heichu.
Present.
Mayor Larry Dangerfield. Present. Jeremy Rainey. Here. Jordan Basham. Nicole Refalo. Stephanie Laughlin. All right. Jordan Basham. Got Wesley Sidnor. Scott Fleming. He's on there. Yeah, Jim's on there too. Kevin Gibson. Deputy Judge Executive John Park. Pete Hedges. Melvin Phoenix. Judge Executive Scott Bates. Here. Jonathan Bates. Here. Jody Bramblett. Judge Executive Scott Travis. David Bollinger. David either. Judge Executive John Ogburn. Neil Martindale.
Here.
Mr. Jim Hoskins. Mark Bates. And last but not least, Terry Roach. There you go. All right. Well, we have a quorum, so we are good to go, Chairman.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Moving on down the list, we have, and was sent out ahead of time, the minutes from the October 14th meeting. If you've had an opportunity to look over that, those who would accept a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussions, corrections, or additions that need to be made to the minutes from October 14th? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Like sign. All right, so the minutes are approved. So, we have a few speakers today, and first up on the list is Ariana Ladgeman. And Ariana is with KRWA, and she's going to bring us up to date on some drinking water updates and reminders. So please welcome her.
All right. So I'll try to make it speedy. Hopefully everybody, including the internet, can hear. I'll wait for the technology. All right. So I always start this off, actually stole this from Damon Talley. Please note that some of this content is ever changing. And so if I tell you something today and then it turns out a week from now that that is no longer the truth, sorry about you, I didn't mean to lie. I am literally just gonna try and share the truth as it exists today. And as regulations are constantly changing and updating, sometimes you just never know. So this is what I got for you today, right? All right, you wanna just click the next button?
Sure.
And here, all right. Real fast, I wanna do some reminders on the lead and copper rule. Right now, everybody in drinking water is operating under the current lead and copper rule, like we've been doing since the 90s. It's the same old, same old. And as you know, a couple years ago, we had the lead and copper rule revisions. And that was a hot disaster of a rule. And so the Fed said, just kidding, we're gonna overwrite that with the lead and copper rule improvements. And we're gonna ignore the LCRR. We kept a couple of things from the LCRR and we scrapped everything else. And so the things there in the middle column, we decided to keep, right? And by we, I mean the feds. I was yelling at you October 16th, 2024, right? Like a lot that came out of my mouth every third sentence. Please remember, all of this is due October 16th, 2024. And as a state, we did great. We had 99% compliance as of that date, and within a few weeks, we had 100% compliance. So yay, Kentucky! We were by far in the minority on that nationwide. Just wanted to throw that out there. EPA Region 4 was like, how did you guys do this, right? And I think it was by beating everybody in the face with that date, right? So good work, everyone. The things we decided to keep are customer notifications going out for the various types of service lines like lead, galvanized requiring replacement, and the unknowns, which hopefully you just sent out as of the end of December. Your certifications for that are due by July 1, but please don't just sit around. If you sent your letters and all that good jazz, like you should have by the end of December, please just send in your certification now so that you don't forget. We did decide to keep the 24-hour tier 1 public notification for lead action level exceedances, and that's already in effect now, which is different from the way we've operated in the past. And then we've got all kinds of new language going into the CCR, starting right now, actually. Timeline of recent updates. I'm putting this in here because, like I said, things change. I'm sure many of you are aware that AWWA sued the EPA over the lead and copper rule improvements, mainly over private property line replacement shenanigans that we shouldn't have to do this, even if we quote have control of the line. The 10-year replacement timeframe, AWWA said that's nonsense. We can't meet that. Now, for the majority of people in this room, that probably isn't a problem, but for some of the larger utilities in the state, it could be. The Kentucky Americans, Northern Kentucky Water Districts, Louisville Water, this is gonna be a much bigger order for them. And then, of course, massive funding shortfall. AWWA, which is like, how do you expect us to pay for this? You're giving us pennies when we need dollars. And so AWWA said, this is shenanigans. No. EPA said, hold up, we've just changed administrations. Give us a hot minute to catch up. And then the current EPA reviewed and said, nah, we're gonna stick with the current LCRI. We'll see you in court. And so all of the written briefs have been submitted and oral arguments for this are actually ongoing, like right now. So we should be seeing soon what's gonna happen with this lawsuit. In my personal, not Rural Water's opinion, in my personal opinion, again, channeling my inner Damon Talley here on that. I don't think we're gonna see any change out of this, because this is not the first time the water industry as a whole has sued EPA over lead and copper. We did it in the nineties, the first time the lead and copper rule came out in the first place for basically saying that it's beyond the jurisdiction of the Safe Drinking Water Act. Again, so I just don't think we're gonna see any change. I think it's in our best interest as water providers to just go ahead and move forward, assuming that the rule is gonna stay exactly as it is. You know, we can hope for the best that some of this gets struck down, but let's go ahead and plan for the fact that the rule is gonna stick around. All right, next. Broad overview, some of the stupid stuff from LCRR is gone, like the trigger level, but the problem with that is that when the trigger level went away, EPA just said, well, you know what, we'll just take that action level at 15 and we'll just drop it down to 10 instead. And so now we're gonna have a much tighter level that we have to comply with, and this could be problematic. We don't have a lot of lead action level exceedances in the state, but we do have quite a few 90th percentiles that are flirting around that 10 and 12 parts per billion line. So we're going to see more lead action level exceedance in the state. If I were you, I would look at your previous lead history just to get an eye on what you could expect, because starting in November 1, 2027, that's the new October 16th, 2024, right? I'm just keep saying that, November 1, 2027. That's the new target. We gotta make sure we're below 10 at that 90th percentile line. All of our lead and GRR has to be removed within 10 years of rule finalization, so you don't have long on that, believe it or not. If you've got a bunch of GRR, 10 years is not a lot of time to plan to figure out how to fund that. You've got to replace private lines if they could be considered under your control. If that homeowner gives you permission to come in and do that work, that line is under your control now. So lead connectors have to be included in your inventory. Everybody turned in a basic inventory by October of 2024. But now your inventory has to include a couple of additional things like street addresses, which again, I don't think are a problem for the vast majority of us in the state, but connectors are now required. Connectors are not brass fittings, connectors are pipes, okay? Pipes. None of the other things you would think of that connect lines together, those are not connectors. A connector is by definition under 3 feet of length. If it's over 3 feet in length, it is a service line. Okay, so if you've got lead goosenecks, lead connectors that are short little guys, those are connectors. You have to put them in your inventory, but they're not considered service lines. If you have connectors that are over 3 feet in length and they are lead, congratulations, you have lead service lines in your new inventory. Okay, that's all I'll say about that for now. Next, please. All right, so like I said, November 1, 2027 is our new October 16, 2024. So this is the date, the target date. And believe me, it's coming at us a lot faster than I like. We've got a lot of stuff to do. Your site sampling plan, and this is going to be for your tap samples. So right now we've got tiers 1 through 3 for our lead and copper sites. You can still use your lead and copper sites with your new site sample plan, but they're gonna have a different tier definition. It's now tiers 1 through 5, and it has nothing to do with the year it's constructed. It all has to do with service line material and that nature. So everybody has to start with a new site sampling plan. Our new baseline service line inventory is due. And if you have any unknown, any GRR or any lead lines, you also have to submit a service line replacement plan. If you do not have lead lines and you do not have galvanized requiring replacement lines, I am telling you right now, it is in your best interest to get rid of any and all unknowns, because this service line replacement plan is going to be a giant pain in the neck. And if you don't have to turn one in, don't. Because mathematically, and I'm not gonna get into it, because that's a 45-minute conversation, but mathematically, you are gonna make yourselves really, really sick because you won't be able to comply. If you only have unknown lines and you turn this in, you're mathematically not going to be able to comply with the required replacement rate. So by the year 2030, if you still have unknowns, you will be out of compliance with the lead and copper rule improvements simply for having unknowns. Okay, so do yourselves a favor, get rid of the unknowns before November 1, 2027. From now until then, you're gonna keep on keeping on with your usual lead and copper rule sampling. It's the same. Annual letters are gonna keep going out if you've got GRR or unknown or lead service lines. Remember, it's still a 24-hour public notification. The minute that you figure out you've hit that 90th percentile and exceeded right now 15 parts per billion, you get 24 hours to do all of the public notification for that. And it's a nightmare. So you need to pick up the phone immediately and contact me, and I will help you through that. Contact Division of Water. Everybody needs to know right off the bat that that's happened, because 24 hours is not a lot of time to get all that material together. And then, of course, you still got to have all those changes on your CCR. Next, please. School and childcare sampling. All I will say about this is that you've got 5 years to sample all of them. If you have not already done so, the WIN grant, it's the Water Infrastructure Improvements for the Nation. The WIN Act gave a whole bunch of money to the state of Kentucky. The state of Kentucky is spending that money to go out and sample at every elementary school and daycare facility that they can, but right now it's a voluntary program. If you can get your school system or all your daycares in your area to sign up through the WIN grant voluntary program, it is a win for everybody. You don't have to do it when the LCRI kicks in, because we will have done it for you. If there's a problem at the school or the daycare and we see lead, this grant will pay to fix whatever's wrong. If that means we've got to replace a faucet, the grant will pay for it. And that means that myself, other rural water and Division of Water folks will be holding the hand of that school and that daycare through how to fix the problem. If they don't go through this grant and you end up doing it as part of this regulation, if there's an issue, you're gonna have to hold their hand walking through it. Now, you don't have to pay to fix the problem, but now the school's gonna have to pay to fix the problem. So you see, that's not a win for them. This is a win. Get your schools to sign up through the state's program, and you can always hit me up later for more information on that.
Barry, what if you have a childcare of somebody that says, no, you're not allowed to come in my building?
You just have to document the snot out of that, and it's kind of like the same way if you're trying to figure out what a private service line is, and somebody won't give you permission to look at it. Again, you just have to reach out using multiple forms of communication, and then you have to document it. It just becomes an administrative burden on your end, right? And that's kind of what I've been using this program to encourage people. Like, look, we had school systems that wouldn't sign up. We talked to a very large public school system a couple of years ago, and they were like, sounds great, but what happens if there's a problem? Because the funding to fix things hadn't come in yet. They were like, we don't want to know, la la la, right? Because if there's a problem, we're gonna have to pay to fix it. Well, now that we have the money, they're like, all right, fine, you can come in and sample, because again, you're gonna pay for it and I don't have to worry about it. Use that as a vehicle to get people to sign up for this. If there's a problem, we're not just gonna leave it and say, good luck, we're gonna pay to fix it. All right, next please. All right, up and coming, perchlorate. I don't know how many of you have paid attention to perchlorate, because frankly, in Kentucky, I don't expect us to see a lot of perchlorate detections. It is a component in things like jet fuel, rocket fuel. There are some places in the US where it's a hotbed problem, right, for perchlorate in their source water. We've got to make sure we've got it out. And it has been a litigious nightmare since I want to say 2018. And it's been back and forth, back and forth. EPA was going to regulate it, and then they were not going to regulate it. And then the Natural Resources Defense Council, the NRDC, sued the snot out of EPA, and it was ruled that they had to make a rule on it, and then they didn't meet the deadline, and so NRDC took them back to court, and so now we have this rule. I think, honestly, EPA was supposed to promulgate this rule by the end of 25, and we just got it the first week of January, so I don't think EPA even met that deadline again, but we do have a promulgated rule that's out. You can see the website up there if you're interested in going to look at it. Essentially, perchlorate is going to be monitored probably along the same standard monitoring framework as the rest of the IOCs at plants. So if you're a purchaser, you're not going to actually be doing any testing for it. Only if you're a producing water system, you're going to be doing that testing. There's even things written in there. EPA is highly suggesting that states implement either a waiver program or do bin classifications in order to reduce monitoring from once every year or once every 3 years down to once per 9 years. If any of you are familiar, the state does have a waiver program in place for like dioxin monitoring, the 2378 TCDD. Because it's stupid expensive, we just don't have it in our water, so the state implemented a waiver program, and frankly, I think that's hopefully the direction I'm going to encourage Division of Water to roll with that. We'll see. Public comment period is gonna be ending in March. If you're interested in, there is a virtual public hearing in February to talk about perchlorate monitoring. Again, if you are so inclined to listen to that 3-hour drone fest next week. And this is just how I like to end some presentations, because I saw this map a while ago and it made me really happy. So you can always go to that website and then hit next. Oh, you don't have to go directly to that website, just hit the next in the slide, sorry. I always just try to put the website up in case people, wanna look at it later.
And I'll be sure to send this out to everybody after this too, so you can access that.
Perfect. All right, so this is the community water system shaded counties in the United States where we have an actual publicly owned treatment work or public water system serving every county. Is shaded in dark gray. So you see there's a whole lot of white space where there is no public water. It's all well water. Now granted, there's a whole lot of spaces out there where there just aren't a lot of people, right? So it doesn't make sense to put a public water system in. Go to the next slide, please. But look at that state. Wabam, right? And I think that sometimes being born and raised here and living here, that a lot of us maybe just don't realize what great work we do as an industry in our state and compared to our neighbors and frankly, everybody else. 96 to 97% of the state of Kentucky is served by a public water system. As industry, we kick butt, all right? We are the lifeblood of our community. Without us, we cannot have economic development. We are vital. And we're doing phenomenal work in our state here. And I just like to show that because I think it's great. And that's all I got.
Okay,
Okay, let's
question.
go back.
Yeah, it's fast.
Anybody have any questions?
I have a question,
Sure.
Ariana. So you talked about the wind grant. Do you have to have 100% participation from all the schools and daycares to qualify for that? Or is it a school by school, daycare by daycare situation?
Absolutely not. It's a school by school, whatever. So like for you, because you're in Oldham County, it would be Oldham County Public Schools, right? But if you've got private schools who want to sign up and Oldham County doesn't want to, that's fine. If you've got some individual daycares that sign up, that would be great. I can already tell you that I've been in all of the Head Starts in Oldham County. So those are already off the list for you. They're done. Which is great. But yeah, anybody that's not part of that, Community Action Center Head Start group, that's just a privately owned daycare, if they are registered in the state of Kentucky, they're eligible.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions? Comments? Okay, we're gonna move right on down the list. Justin, I'm gonna let you introduce our next speakers.
Sure. These are my friends and counterparts from Bluegrass Area Development District. We have Ellie Wellman and Casey Cash. They are going to give us a presentation on a rate study that they performed last year in 2025 and their bluegrass ad. And I just kind of wanted to, it's been years since we've gone here in our region. And I know sometimes working with the mayors and the judge executives from our counties, it helps you guys have some ammunition when you all need to raise the rates, and it's hard to do so because people asking questions and for needed projects or whatnot. So I just wanted to gauge the interest with this and let you know how they've been successful at doing this rate analysis and the rate study in their region, and to see if you all have any interest in myself collecting the data when I come around for my system visits here in the next month or so we can actually do one and bolster those rates and make sure that you guys are getting the financial means that you need in-house besides the grants and loans that we administer for you all. So this is Ellie Wellman and Casey Cash from Bluegrass Ad, and I'll just turn it over to you all.
Okay, so like Justin said, I'm Casey Cash. I'm with the Bluegrass Ad. I am their water management planner and infrastructure development coordinator. So essentially Justin's counterpart at the Bluegrass Ad. And this is Ellie Wellman, our senior GIS specialist. So you mentioned a rate study. That's pretty much what it is, but we have at the Bluegrass Ad done a rate book for the last decade and a half. So we've gone through and collected rates from every utility, all kinds of information from the last decade and a half. We do it every year. And it's been pretty popular. A lot of people use it. It's used for other rate studies. It's used by utilities, cities. Everyone likes it. Everyone requested it. We went about a year without it because of COVID, and people left and right were just like, where is this book? So when we brought it back after COVID, we were looking at the possibility of just putting it digitally online. And Ellie, in her wonderful GIS technology expertise, was like, well, what if we make an interactive digital rate book? And which is what she's going to talk about here in a moment. I do want to interface too. This is really good coupled with your system visits. I know in the system visits, we ask for a lot of information from everyone. It's really data intensive for everyone involved. But coupling some of this information in there also will allow Justin to deliver a product to you guys that is pretty useful too. So, and it goes pretty hand in hand. A lot of the stuff that we ask for in system visits is stuff that's included in here. We ask for a little bit more specifically with various rates and tap on fees and everything like that, but it's not a lot extra to ask for to make the system visits really worth it. So I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so this kind of started talking to our executive director who had been kind of overseeing this project for a while. As soon as we printed out the rate book, it was out of date. Somebody would change their rates. It was no longer in date. So then we would get calls about corrections, and it's like, well, we've printed out 200 copies. We're not going to print out another 200. So putting it online, it lets us change things as they happen. Now, I'm not going to say it's 100% up to date all the time. A lot of that is we need the systems to tell us when they've had rate changes, but when they do that, it's super easy to keep everything updated. But I'm just going to kind of walk through the actual rate book itself and kind of where all of our data came from. Got a landing page that tells you everything that's included, where all of our data came from. A lot of it was from system visits and working with the water and sewer systems themselves. But our first tab is going to be population and LMI. These are two things that we have to use for grants all the time. So the LMI information, we've got it broken down by county and by city. This is important for, I think CDBG is the one we use it for a lot, but then also the water sewer grants. It's available in the WRIS portal, but for us, this just gives us a snapshot, quick, easy place to look at what we need for the area. It is all filterable by county and city. So if we wanted to look at Estill County, we've got our county population tables. It filters these down at the bottom, and it'll just give you that county. We've also got the option to look at all of the counties, and we've got them ranked based on their how much population change they've had. Our fastest growing county is Scott County. That's where Georgetown is. Slowest is actually Estill County. They're having a bit of a population decrease. I think a lot of that was probably due to some of the flooding they've had. But it kind of just gives us a hub for any of the cities we need to look at. Here's Bergen. It's that's showing Mercer County right now, but if you click over, it'll show you just the city population as well. And all of this came from the Census Bureau and a HUD for the LMI data. Okay, then our water system rates, it assaults you with this graphic that pops up and says, notice we're still in the process of collecting data because we've gotten back from almost all of ours. I think there's probably 3 holdouts for water and 3 holdouts for sewer that they keep saying, oh yeah, we'll send you the updated rates, and they just haven't gotten them to us yet. So they're showing as blank in this right now. But that's why there's that big notice on there. It tells you how we calculated everything. Most people have theirs in gallons now, but we do still have a few systems that use cubic feet. So it talks about the conversion rates we use to get from cubic feet to gallons. This one, you'll get the water treatment plant information, contact information, links to the WRIS portal, and then total customers and things of those nature, not nature. It can be filtered by system, county, city, and customer count. I think one of the favorites is customer count, because in the book previously, we had done it systems that serve under 2,500 customers and systems that serve over 2,500 customers, but there's still a good amount of variability in that. So you can set it to 10,000. And it'll just show you those systems that have up to 10,000 customers. Same thing, you can go the other direction. And
There's a lot of data on here. You can hide different aspects of this, so you don't have to view all of this at one time. You can it gets bigger as you get rid of stuff, right?
you can shrink everything down.
Yep.
You can expand
For-
all of these.
For those who like to use the map is completely interactive. So if you know where your area is, you can just click on the map and it'll bring up all the information for that too. So
So yeah, that'll
the
be
map's not just for show. You can navigate through that too.
But yeah, we've got it all, the rates, it'll tell you the date of the last rate adjustment, minimum bill, minimum usage. And then at the moment, we've only got 4,000 gallon, 30,000 and 300,000. We did some calculations for, what was it, 2,000 and 6,000?
Yeah, 2,000 and 6,000.
Those are gonna be added in at the next cycle of publication for this, because we used to publish the 2,000 and 4,000, decided to simplify it this year, but then have had people ask for the 2,000 and 4,000, because 2,000 is kind of the base minimum usage for some, but not all. There's a lot of them have comments on there too of rates, when the rates increase. We've got some that increase in March, some in July, some in January, very dependent system to system. And some that don't have any scheduled increases at all. One of the super cool things that we've got in here is the rank, so you can look where you compare to other systems. So Carlisle Water Department is ranked 20th, so for 4,000 gallons, so they've got one of the highest rates for 4,000 gallons. Highest rate is actually going to be Kentucky American Water. They're a private entity, so we kind of look at them a little bit differently anyways. But yeah, you can see cheapest water right now is in Paris. I know they're in the process of increasing their rates, but they can only do it so much at a time. But this for them is useful because they can look at it and say, okay, where are we? We're definitely underselling ourselves. Rank is, it goes across the board. The rates are calculated. A lot of them have specific industrial rates. That's going to be your 300,000 gallons.
It's a lot of information. Does anyone have any questions so far, just to make sure we don't move too fast through it?
We love it. We love the data. We need to do that here. What's it gonna cost? When can you get it done?
Well, I guess I'm making more work for myself, but they showed this at one of our meetings in Frankfurt at KCO, and I was very impressed as well. And I said, hey, this is something that'll be very applicable for our region, and that's why I wanted them to come and present, just to gauge interest. So it sounds like there is some. So.
The cost might be a little bit much. It is free. So for the most part.
It's not completely free, but it would be a matter of time.
Yeah.
And then you can do a lot of it through our Esri licenses, which we have to do anyways because of the way we update data with KIA. So that's where a lot of this comes from. It's all on an Esri ArcGIS Online based platform, uses dashboards, Survey 123, and Experience Builder. Those are all the products, but they're all Esri based products that should be included in the standard licensing.
Stuff that ad already has.
Right.
Yep.
It is very much just a matter of time and how much time you want to spend on it. And yeah, happy to send all of our resources over to you guys as well, because there's a lot of background code that I've got running on this for the rank and deviation, because that's not stuff that just auto populates. So I've got it all the data gets downloaded, run through a script, reprocessed and published.
And I can promise you, we're making it better as we go. I'm working on standardized forms to send out beforehand, so you guys can fill out all the information when I get there, because we have 106 utilities in our area that we have to go visit. So time is of the essence. We go through a lot of system visits. I'm booked solid for the next like 4 months in system visits. So the more practical we can make it, the better. So you guys are always gonna get whatever is the best when it comes to what we're doing here, and we're gonna try and make it as easy on you guys as we can, because it'll make it easier on us too.
So I think the first step would be to collect the new data or the additional data when I come around for our system visits. And I was looking at usually doing that, I start as soon as possible, but having them present today and understanding what that's gonna take, we would probably push it back, but have definitely February, March and April. I'd come out and I would collect the extra additional data to be able to start on this. And then I'd work with them since, I don't wanna recreate the wheel here, just work with them and make sure that we're doing it. But, we have a great GIS department here, we have Ryan Lloyd back there, he's doing a great job on the GIS contract with KIA now, so. I know this is something we can do, but the first step would be to collect the data and then talk with Jared, our executive director, and make sure that we're all on board to streamline it and make sure this is something we can put out, successfully later this year.
And I think obviously it's just as good as the information we collect. We need the commitment from the utilities as well in order to share this information. But if that is something you all are interested in, we'll share the information. It's certainly something we can pursue.
Do you guys have all your historical data? I know you said you've been doing this for a decade or more. So do you have
So
all of that past data in here?
we, not in here. We have looked into ways of adding it in there because we do have all the data. We would need to redo all of the data schemas so that they lined up. We haven't figured out the best way to integrate that.
If you don't put in your past stuff, starting from now, will all of this be built on, like next year be built on it so you can show trends and things like that? Is that something you?
It's not something that we've put in yet, but it is something that we kind of started talking about in the background. It would be a bit more of an undertaking, and I want to make sure we keep this as accessible as possible. So even if that's making a separate dashboard for if you want to look at historical trends, we could do something like that as well. But at the moment, it's just
What it is
today. Yeah.
And our division just did the water management plan. We just finished that here recently, as did all the other area development districts. And then, as you know, we've been working with you with the infrastructure report card to translate some of that data over so you can use that with the ASCE. So this would just be another easier, more accessible way to streamline that,
Right.
even more so than using the portal. The portal is exceptional for what it is, and we're very, grateful to have that. But this is just another one that we can kind of hone in and look at our region in more detail.
Other huge thing we've got is that we've got it broken out into municipal rates and rural rates, because we do have a lot of systems that are owned by the city and then plenty that are not owned by the city as well. And those rates are different. And so, if you've got a city tax base that's contributing to your water costs, your water is going to be a little bit lower. So typically our rural rates are a little bit higher. So we do have those broken out very intentionally. The one that is a bit of a minefield to try to get through is our tap-on fees, because everybody has tap-on fees displayed differently. So we've got it broken into the tap-on fee based on your meter size, and then if there's any notes, but some of these have in-city customers, out-of-city customers, a lot of them are just actual costs. We did our best with the tap-on fees, but there's not a standardized way that people have their tap-on fees at all, so. There's that. Sewer systems looks almost the exact same as water systems. We don't really have any rural sewer systems. I think we might have one or two.
Couple.
Yeah, we've got them, the sewer, we've got that pretty much just as in-city and out-of-city costs, and a lot of them have the same in-city costs for both, so there's not quite as much information in our sewer system, but we just don't quite have as many sewer systems or the need to have all the information. That's again broken out by customers. When you click on any of them, it filters it down for you. Gives you all the costs, minimum usage, that kind of thing. And then the last tab we've got is our local tax rates. So the Kentucky Department of Revenue publishes a rate book annually. I'm still waiting for them to publish 2025's tax rate book, but this is broken down. We just basically copy and pasted the data from them into a new format. So that all of our counties could look at each other and kind of compare. So they can click, and if they want to look at just city property taxes, it'll show you every city we've got and how they calculate property tax. The big one, I think, is the school district tax. Well, it's not popping up right away, but you can filter it by type of tax, city, county, all of that's there. The E911 rates and collection method, those were all collected by calling the cities and counties and trying to figure it out, because some of those are collected by the water system, so it kind of skews your water bill a little bit. So, we worked with them to figure out, okay, what's your water bill without that? And we pulled out the E911 separately, but that was a bit of a hassle trying to get in contact with all of them, and then they'd send you on a phone chase to find the right person who can tell you that it's 50 cents on the phone bill.
Been there.
So that one was not super fun to collect, but they like it because we've got a few places that don't collect anything, and so they're trying to figure out how they need to, or if they do, it's on the landline and nobody has a landline anymore. Yeah. Anybody have any questions?
That's awesome.
And if you guys want to take a look at this, it's on our website. If you go to our website, in the top right corner is our rate book.
Mhm.
You just click on that link and go, and you can take a look at it if you want. And I'll have this if anyone wants to look at it today before they leave, so.
Yeah. Last thing, we've got a survey for corrections, so it's linked on every single page of the rate book. If you find something that's wrong, they can click the link, submit a correction, and then we'll look into it. So far, most people have just emailed me, but the survey's there, that maybe one day someone will use it. Yeah, thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for coming. Yeah, we really appreciate it and appreciate your willingness to share. And that may make our life a little bit easier down the road.
Absolutely.
All right.
So much appreciated. Thanks, Casey.
Thank you.
So does that
Well,
sound like?
just,
Go ahead, Chairman.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, I know next on the agenda, we've got some new water and wastewater projects. And I can let you go right into that. And I don't know if we need a vote or not, but do we have a consensus that we think we would like to do this in our area as well? I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of head nods across the room. This is absolutely something we want to do.
Awesome.
This is kind of a thing about you guys.
Probably not something we need in a form of a motion, but I think it's something we could certainly have. Right, good
Well, it
with that?
sounds like we'll move forward with this, Russ, Chairman. When I prepare all of my data collection thank you so much again. I appreciate it. Thanks. I will get with Ellie and Casey and kind of get the formatting for the questions and what other data they collected when they conducted this. And when Ryan and I start to go around for our system visits, we'll just include that in the data that we collect. That will be the initial starting point for this. And then I'll just begin getting with them and make sure that Jared and I are on the same page, Jared and Felicia. And if we need any GIS help outside of our Community Economic Development Division, hopefully that will be able to be permitted as well through our GIS division. If not, hopefully this is still something we'll pursue. I don't see why not. So I think the interest is there.
Awesome.
And really good comments
Yeah.
and feedback about being able to keep this data over
For
the
trends and
years.
everything.
So great feedback there. That I really do think creates another interface of tracking historical data. I think you're dead on with that, because then not only do we know where we're at today, but then we can also show that trend over the last decade, giving more information to those who aren't in the industry that
Right.
may not already know. It'll help tell that story better for them.
Thank you, guys. Sorry, we're
Thank you,
gonna speak out.
Now go for it. Yeah. Thank you. I'll be in touch. Thank you guys. So as Russ alluded to, we do have 3 new projects, 1 new sewer and 2 water here. Gonna go ahead and get started with the sewer one first. This is with the Eminence Wastewater in Henry County. It's the Arborview Force Main Extension Project Profile. Jonathan, did you want to give us a little overview on this one to the
Yeah, I
council
can.
for approval? Okay.
So we have went ahead and we got some engineers to look at the cost, so it's around that $500,000 mark. But with this project, we have a subdivision out there, of course, Arborview. And for that to be able to expand and to keep growing, we're gonna need this expansion. Currently, the force main, it's tied onto a force main where all our industry and stuff is going into, so we're needing to have one that's primarily just for that residential area. So we're looking to upgrade that to an 8-inch because it's all tied into a 6-inch right now. So to help with the industry area and the subdivision, this needs to be done fairly quickly, because the subdivision's already on phase 3 and they got 2 more phases. They've already started the development on the 3rd phase, so it is something that we're wanting to try to get done fairly quickly, and it's 3,500 foot of, like I said, we're gonna try to put in 8-inch sewer force main.
Any questions for Jonathan? All right, we'll move on to the next one. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. So we're going into water now. This is at the Louisville Water Company. It's in Oldham County, servicing an area that is unserved in Oldham County. It's called the Harmony Village Road Water Main Extension Project. And Jeremy, do you mind giving us a little run?
Yeah, we've got some leftover clean water funds from our 2 Oldham County projects that we've already bid. They come in way under budget. So we're wanting to transfer those funds to this one, and then Louisville Water cover whatever overrun there could be. But as you said, we got 11 residents out there. Most of them are on wells, a few are on cisterns. But those on wells are starting to have complaints of issues with those wells, so we're gonna install this main and hopefully take care of a lot of that, plus additional development that'll be coming in that area, so.
Any questions for Mr. Rainey? Thank you, sir. The final one for approval is in Shelby County. It's with the West Shelby Water District. It's the Kentucky 1848 20-inch water line replacement. And we have Brendan Welch, I believe. Brendan, are you with us?
Can you hear me, Justin?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we did a project recently, or West Shelby did out there to extend a line back into that industrial park right there, and came to our news to us that water line was about 20 feet deep. So this project profile in here is to replace that water line to get it up to a normal depth right across there, so that the district can actually maintain that water line.
Any questions for Mr. Welch with that? All right. Thank you, Brendan. Appreciate it, sir.
Thanks.
Seeing no questions, we get a motion to approve these 3 projects before the council.
So moved.
Motion to Arthur, we get a second? Second. All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you all. Russ, do you have anything to say before we move into our coordinators report?
No, that's all the water and wastewater projects. We did those both in one motion, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, now go ahead, please, into your coordinators report.
So I guess it's that time of year, we need to elect our officials for 2026. Russ Rose is our mainstay as our chairman here. He always does a good job. I mean, he's not here with us today, obviously, but he is on Zoom. So I said our vice chair could fill in for him today, but he wasn't having it. So he's our chairman for life, basically. And I'm fine with that. He does an exceptional job. Does anyone have any issues with Russ Rose not maintaining this role? All right. Do we have any nominations for a vice chairman that would like to be our vice chair for our KIPDA Regional Water Management Council in 2026?
Who's current by?
That was Kevin Gibson. Yeah. But he really do, like I said, he didn't need to do too much, so.
Yeah.
Arthur looks like, yeah, he was the one that. All right. So can I get a motion to keep Russ Rose as our chairman and Arthur Jones of the city of Shepherdsville as our vice chairman for 2026?
So moved.
Judge Bates.
Second.
That was Scott Bates. Thank you, Judge. All in favor?
Uh,
Motion carries. Okay, I don't really have too much. I think that they did a great job presenting that when they presented last fall. I thought that was something that we could definitely benefit from in our region. So, with all the nods of approval and everyone sounding like they're on board with that, I'll get with them, get those added, questions that I'll need when I come around for our system visits here. I'll be scheduling those. So just, hear from me in the next probably 2 or 3 weeks, get those scheduled for February, March. That'll be my window of coming around and collecting, your all system data and asset inventory data. And then while I'm doing that, I'll get started on collecting the data that we need for this to move forward with creating that. But I don't really have too much, cleaner water. Everybody's pretty much spent those funds. There's a few stragglers here that we're gonna get with and make sure that this spring we get that, because we're not waiting to the last minute. So if you're one of those, just know I'm coming for you. We're gonna get you.
Like,
Get you.
in by October, I'd like to have all draws in by October.
Completely.
Yes, because you've got to give me time to do the Lord's work.
Debbie's good at that, but we don't wanna inundate her with it. So, but, we're heavy, our division's heavy and doing a lot of admin work for SRF and CDVGs that we've gotten for you all. So if anybody who has a CDVG or SRF with us right now, if you have any questions, we're always here. Felicia Harper, our director, and Ryan's been doing a great job of mapping. So if anybody needs anything, between now and when I contact you to schedule our system visits, don't hesitate to holler at us. Either Felicia, Ryan, or I are always available. I want to thank Don and Cinnamon and Debbie being here today. Do any of you all have any announcements or anything that you like?
Now, if you're not drawing on a grant and you have a story, talk to me. You know, let me know what's going on, let me know, let's talk about it. If you don't have a draw workbook, if you're waiting on me for something, see me. Don't let me fall behind on anything, because I do get slammed, so
Yes, ma'am.
just push that clean water.
Don, Cinnamon, either one of you all have anything, any announcements? Okay. Sounds good. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Just be reaching out to you guys here shortly to do that. And I guess all of our SRF projects that we submitted, I did hear back from Russell Neal with KIA yesterday. Yeah, late yesterday, with some questions. So I'll be getting back with all of you all about those. Not too many, but we just want to make sure. I think it's January 26th. So anybody who submitted an SRF application with me, I'll be reaching out to you guys in the next week to make sure that we get all those comments addressed and those questions answered for Russell and his team at KIA. But that's all I have today. I guess we'll go around for county updates. Does anybody from any of our systems in each one of our counties have any updates they wanted to share with the council?
I'll just say I appreciate water company working in that Harmony Village project. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Jim. Is there anything, do you need our assistance with that at all, Jeremy, with the cleaner water? Was that a pretty streamlined reallocation process with KIA? And you feel okay, everything going good with that?
I think we've got it figured out.
It's awesome. Sounds good.
Do a motion to adjourn.
All right. Our vice chairman's really taking this role seriously. We can do that. I'm down with that. Can we get a motion to adjourn from Arthur? Get a second.
I'll say.
Jeremy, ready, second. All in favor? Let's make it 2026. Thank you all for being here today.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for us.
Oh, you all need the,
I think so. When she retires.
Maybe government employees, we don't act like. We got stuff to do.
Watch what, that's what you listen to. All of that.
You know what?
Yeah, say, all right, Jonathan, but I'm ready to get.
I'm on vacation anymore, so that's just, didn't even realize the rest of the, I was like, Thursday, and so, other than, I will be here.
I appreciate that.
Every month. I mean, I've already done a list of troubles that still want for me for, Right. Yeah, we'll be in the base after. Get all the cookies on it. And there's not like. Anything you need. Yes, sir. See you later. Dad.
Thanks, man.
You don't need judge for a while, time. Yeah, here leave your nose. Think I got everything. And judge. Yeah, we have the two. And we
Thank you.